जी बिजनेस इस खास पेशकश में आप सभी का स्वागत है। हम इंफोसिस के कैंपस में और हमारे साथ कुछ खास मेहमान मौजूद है, मिस्टर नारायण मूर्ति, मिस्टर केवी कामत, मिस्टर एस गोपाल कृष्णन, मिस्टर शिवलाल। सो फर्स्टली कांग्रेचुलेशंस टू ऑल ऑफ यू। मिस्टर मूर्ति, पहले मेरा जो आपका सवाल है, काफी रिलैक्स होंगे इस समय आप?
Yes, I'm always relaxed, but this has been an emotional day in some sense, because this is the day when we officially announced that I would not be part of this wonderful corporation. So it has been emotional for me, it has been significant for me, but for the company I think it is yet another day when a new set of leadership takes over, a new set of leadership that has a wonderful set of achievements, a new set of leadership that will do things much better than what my team, when I was part of it, did. So in that sense, it's a very happy thing from looking at it from the institutional perspective, but looking at it from personal perspective, in some sense it is sad.
मिस्टर कामत, आपसे सवाल है कि चूंकि इन्फोसिस में अब मिस्टर नारायण मूर्ति एग्जिट कर रहे हैं, ऐसे में एक जो मार्जिन्स अगर देखें तो पूरी तरह से एक आईटी इंडस्ट्री फेस कर रही है कि अब कुछ मार्जिन्स फॉल हो रहे हैं। साथ ही अगर इन्फोसिस की जो गाइडेंस है इस बार कुछ हद तक मार्केट में म्यूटेड कही जा रही है, ऐसे में आपका क्या फोकस एरिया होगा इन्फोसिस को आगे ग्रोथ पाथ पर लाने?
मेरे हिसाब से जो भी स्ट्रैटेजीज एग्जीक्यूटिव मैनेजमेंट से बोर्ड से शेयर किए हैं, वी आर कंफर्टेबल विद दो स्ट्रैटेजीज। वो स्ट्रैटेजी के हिसाब से जो भी गेम प्लान था टू रीऑर्गेनाइज, वो अभी किया है, इज बीइंग एग्जीक्यूटेड। बोर्ड ये भी देखता है कि इन्फोसिस जो है इज ए कंपनी विच इज बीन इन बिजनेस फॉर 30+ ईयर्स, एंड वो 30+ ईयर्स में काफ़ी कुछ आई वुड से ऊपर नीचे जो होने का था एनवायरनमेंट में वो हुआ है, एंड दे हैव ऑलवेज बीन एबल टू रीपोजिशन देमसेल्व्स टू मेक श्योर दैट देयर स्ट्रैटेजी इज द राइट स्ट्रैटेजी। तो ये बिलीफ जो है एग्जीक्यूटिव मैनेजमेंट में बोर्ड को फुल्ली देयर। सो मेरे हिसाब से अभी जो चैलेंजेस हैं आर फुल्ली इन कंट्रोल इन द एनवायरमेंटल कॉन्टेक्स्ट, और बोर्ड के हिसाब से ये भी देखा जाता है कि जो मार्केट कंडीशंस जो हैं स्टेबलाइज हो रहे हैं। सो आई डोंट थिंक देयर इज एनी कॉज फॉर कंसर्न एट ऑल एट द बोर्ड, इन द बोर्ड्स माइंड एट लीस्ट। एंड जो आपने मार्जिन्स कहा, जो जब हम देखते हैं जो भी मार्जिन है, नेट मार्जिन है, दैट इज कांस्टेंट। इन फैक्ट द फैक्ट इज वो मार्जिन जो है एक गेम प्लान है, वो गेम प्लान के हिसाब से दे हैव बीन एग्जीक्यूटिंग स्ट्रैटेजी। जो ग्रोथ है, व्हाटएवर ऑफ द गाइडेंस फॉर द ईयर, दे परफॉर्म बेटर। द मार्केट एक्सपेक्टेड मच मोर, दैट इज समथिंग दैट क्लियरली executive management will note, and that is part of their own strategic rollout they are doing to make sure that everybody's expectations are factored in. But despite that, as a board, I do not think we will endorse a quarter-on-quarter strategy, and that has never been Infosys' strategy. The strategy is a long-term strategy, a long-term game plan, and making sure वो जो game plan है, वो खेलने का जो resources चाहिए, वो resources हैं. That we watch. And clearly, I think we are not concerned at the board level on these.
Okay. क्रिस, आप हमेशा मिस्टर मूर्ति के साथ काम करते हैं, जिनका आईटी में बहुत बड़ा बैकग्राउंड है। नाउ आई विल बी वर्किंग विद मिस्टर कामत, हु इज फ्रॉम अ टोटली डिफरेंट बैकग्राउंड, बैंकिंग से उनका बैकग्राउंड है। आपके लिए और एक नई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है आपके ऊपर, किस तरह से आपकी लाइफ चेंज हो रही है?
So my life will now be more in terms of meeting customers, especially the larger customers, building executive connects at the CXO level, because that's the next level of development that we need. Now, as we become more strategic, as our relationship becomes larger and larger, more $100 million relationships, etc., we need to build those CXO connects. So one of the areas of focus will be that. Second will be about developing the next generation of leaders through the Leadership Development Institute. Third will be, of course, to continuously interact with our investors and the key investors. So, customers, employees, investors, to make sure that I participate and I take responsibility for that. And then, of course, I will support Shibla 100%. I will work very closely with KV on the board-related matters. So I will have my hands full.
ओके शिवलाल जी, आपसे सवाल है कि चूंकि आप को फाउंडर हैं, 1981 से कंपनी के साथ इनकॉर्पोरेशन से ही जुड़े हुए हैं, आपने एक मार्जिन फ्रंट की अगर हम देखें तो कंपनी का जब आईपीओ आया था 29 करोड़ की कंपनी की रेवेन्यू था, 8 करोड़ का प्रॉफिट, जो नेट प्रॉफिट मार्जिन थे अराउंड 27%, अभी 25% पर कंपनी काम कर रही है। आगे आने वाले समय में आपको अगर नेक्स्ट 3 to 5 ईयर्स और 10 ईयर्स हम अगर ग्रोथ की बात करें तो आपको क्या लगता है कि ये मार्जिन सस्टेनेबल है?
I think we have given a guidance for the year, 18 to 20% growth and a margin guidance, and that is our guidance for the current year. Now, looking at the future, our aspiration always has been to have industry-leading performance, right? To grow above the industry average, to have one of the highest margins in the industry, and that will continue to be our aspirations.
Mr. Kamath, आप Mr. Murthy के shoes में, you'll be stepping into Mr. Murthy's shoes. How difficult will be the role for you?
पहले बात है कि Murthy is not replaceable, and Murthy's shoes one cannot really step into. So I want to keep that thought aside. जो board processes हैं, in a way I have learned from Murthy, and he has been my mentor while being on the board of ICICI and thereafter. So in a way I understand the principles on which he has built this company, and to that extent it is probably not going to be difficult. Second जो बात है कि ultimately if you look at the role of a chairman is governance practices and making sure that the executive slate that keeps coming up the organization and which will assume leadership as we go along, that slate is coming on in an appropriate manner. ये जो core responsibilities हैं board की, बाकी के oversight की responsibilities हैं. So that is a normal function, normal duty, which I think this company has well laid out. So it's not going to be a difficult task in that context. But stepping into Murthy's shoes is not a possibility because that is not a replaceable, I would say, entity.
मिस्टर मूर्ति, आपसे पूछना चाहेंगे कि आपकी हर न्यू इनिंग में आपकी वाइफ का एक अहम रोल होता है. अब आपकी नई इनिंग कौन सी होगी और उसमें आपकी वाइफ का क्या रोल होगा?
I have just become a grandfather.
Congratulations for that.
Thank you. Our granddaughter Krishna was born on 27th of April.
Okay.
Therefore, both my wife and I look forward to spending some time with that little one, and she is as much a partner in that as I am. So.
Okay.
अब शिवू, आपकी जो बैलेंस शीट है उस पर काफ़ी ज़्यादा कैश पड़ा हुआ है और काफ़ी समय से हमने इन्फोसिस ग्रुप कोई बड़ा एक्विजिशन नहीं देखा है. इनऑर्गेनिक ग्रोथ आपके रडार पे रहेगा गोइंग फॉरवर्ड इन योर ग्रोथ स्ट्रैटेजी?
So in the past we have done acquisitions. We did an acquisition in Australia and we have grown it extremely well. Very recently we did an acquisition, Mekamish, which is a platform which we have acquired and that is now getting integrated into the organization. Acquisition is something which we always look at as a strategic focus. We need to find the right corporation. We need to find somebody who wants to be acquired. We need to find somebody who will add value to the organization, basically putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5, not 4. And there are various criteria. So that process will always continue. And as and when we find the right candidate, which gives us strategic fit, which will give us strong differentiation in the market.
But will that play a major role in your growing strategy?
This is a corporation which has grown organically very well. And if I look at in any dimension, let's say you look at clients, our focus is Fortune 2000. We have 610. We can add new clients. You look at the 610 clients, you have 154 which are Fortune 500 who spend large amount of money in these areas. We can mine them. If you look at our service lines, you have services like independent validation, infrastructure management, system integration, business process management. They all are in the 300 to 500 range. $1 billion opportunities. They can easily grow. So I can go on like this. So we really have enough growth potential. But that doesn't mean we will not look at inorganic acquisition. But that will not be for growth in my mind. I think it will be for strategic fit
complementation
and complementarity.
क्रिस, आपसे जानना चाहेंगे कि जब भी किसी कंपनी में टॉप मैनेजमेंट लेवल पर कुछ भी बहुत ज़्यादा रीशफल होता है या चेंजेस होते हैं और उसका असर कुछ आने वाले समय मिड लेवल पर पड़ता है, उससे एक ट्रेंड जो बनता है इंडस्ट्री में वो बनता है कि एट्रिशन जो रेट होता है वो कुछ समय के लिए एटलीस्ट थोड़ा सा बढ़ जाता है। तो आप 1,30,000 से ज़्यादा एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं इन्फोसिस में, आपको क्या लगता है कि वो किस तरह से इस सिचुएशन को ले रहे हैं?
I believe the employees are going to look at it very positively. We are through this change, we are demonstrating continuity. We have evolved over several years. If you look at this company itself, in the last 3 years, we have doubled in size in employees also. Financial year 2007, we had 79,000 employees. Today, we have more than 130,000 employees. So clearly, we are showing that we have the continuity as well as continuous change. Both are there, because in the last 3 years, several of the services Shibu talked about have grown from a small base, less than $100 million, some are zero, to 300 million plus. So we are demonstrating that as we grew, we have changed also. It's like changing the engine of a plane going at 550 miles per hour in the air. That's what we are doing, and we have demonstrated that in the past. We have depth of leadership, and I'm very, very confident that 3 years, 5 years from now, this company will succeed even better because they're better people than we are.
तो कितना टारगेट होगा एम्प्लॉयज हायर करने का?
So we have already said that this year we will we'll hire 45,000 gross people.
Mr. Murthy, जब किसी बेटी की शादी होती है and when the daughter goes to the in-laws place, काफी दुख होता है, at least for a father, काफी एक symbolic वो होता है, gesture होता है. For you at this point in time, is the feeling same?
It is exactly the same feeling. Let's remember, when your daughter goes to somebody else's house, after all, she is going with a young man, with a smart fellow who is going to create a great future for her, and therefore there's also a joy. While you feel sad that she's going away from you, you also feel happy that her future is going to be better. That's exactly the feeling I have.
If you want to describe your feeling in one word, how will you do that?
Confidence in the future.
Okay. मिस्टर कामत, आपसे सवाल है कि आईसीआईसीआई बैंक में आप एक बहुत लंबे समय तक एसोसिएटेड रहे हैं और अभी भी हैं, और साथ ही अब इन्फोसिस, दो दिग्गज आईटी वर्सेस बैंकिंग, कौन सी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आपको ज़्यादा बड़ी लगती है?
मेरे हिसाब से दोनों रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज महत्वपूर्ण है, एंड यू कैनॉट डिफरेंशिएट इन टर्म्स ऑफ रैंकिंग. दैट वुड बी एंटायरली रॉन्ग टू डू. I think there is a clear idea as to how much time I will require for this company and for ICICI Bank, and I think I still have ample time. And that is my prime thought at this point in time. So there will be no, I would say, differentiation in terms of my thought and effort as required for either of these boards.
I'm sure you must have already planned about your strategy going forward for that.
Indeed.
Chris, to you, sir. आपने कहा कि अब काफ़ी सारे एम्प्लॉयज़ और काफ़ी सारे नए कस्टमर्स से मिल पा रहे हैं. एटलीस्ट फॉर योर अब्रॉड क्लाइंट्स, what is the strategy going at least to acquire new clients and at least for those clients जो Infosys में काफ़ी समय से जुड़े हैं उनको बने रखने के लिए, because मैनेजमेंट पे भी काफ़ी भरोसा होता है और मैनेजमेंट चेंज होने के बाद थोड़ा कुछ क्लाइंट्स का एटलीस्ट जो भरोसा है वो थोड़ा हिल जाता है.
So definitely we will reach out to all our clients, especially the key clients, and reassure them that the company is in safe hands. Somebody like KV coming in absolutely will give them the confidence that this company is in safe hands. So I have no hesitation in saying that we will be able to reassure them. Also remember that these clients have seen Infosys grow over the years, and we have been able to meet their expectations over and over and over again. Many of those clients have more than 500 or 600 Infosians working with them. It's just not one person that makes a difference for them. So there is tremendous depth within the client teams themselves. There is somebody responsible at the leadership level for each client. So there is a process of reassuring them.
Strategy overall?
No, we will of course communicate to them immediately that these changes are taking place and reassure them that they will get the same or better support from the company. Absolutely.
साथ ही शिबू आपसे भी जानना चाहेंगे कि जिस तरह से अभी भी 3 पोस्ट जो कि अभी वैकेंट हैं उसके लिए कोई अनाउंसमेंट सच नहीं हुआ है, क्योंकि जैसा कि आपने बताया कि एक सीईओ की पोस्ट है वो अभी तक वैकेंट है, साथ ही एचआर हेड के लिए भी अभी कुछ अनाउंसमेंट नहीं हुआ है। अगर देखें तो और आपने एक और बात कही थी कि प्रेस मीट में कि जो हर कंट्री में आप जहाँ भी आपका जो बिजनेस ग्रोथ है वो अगर आपको लगती है तो वहाँ पर आप कुछ नए लोगों को हायर करेंगे और एक नए जो डेजिग्नेशंस होंगे उनको असाइन किया जाएगा। तो आपको लगता है कि ये एक नए लोगों को ढूंढना एक क्राइसिस वाला काम रहेगा इस समय पर?
Actually, first of all, I think we have enormous amount of leadership strength. We have the 3-tier leadership system in place. The first tier 1 is 50, 150 and 300. So we have very, very strong leadership system in place. This has been in place for 10 years. We started in 2001. So that is not an issue. When I talked about recruiting people in the local markets, it's about creating a global face. It is about creating a global workforce, which we have already done. For example, in France and in Germany, we have country heads. In Australia, we have done an acquisition and grown them. So we are already in the process of doing that. In US, last year, we recruited 1,200 people. This year, we are planning to do 1,500 people local.
Okay.
So these are things which are already in progress. Regarding the leadership positions, as and when the executive management feels that they are required, there will be a discussion with the board and the nomination committee, and then it becomes their responsibility to make the right choices, recommend back to the board, and that is how it will happen.
Mr. Murthy, one question to you. Any uncompleted agenda do you think you have, you left out for the Infosys?
No, I think, as I said earlier, this organization was founded with a view that it will be vibrant, successful over hundreds of years. Therefore, the agenda is truly a visionary one. And in that sense, there will always be incomplete, unfinished agenda. But what is important is whether you have the right team to take forward this agenda and perform better than what you did. And in that sense, I am extremely confident that this dream team of KV, Chris, Shibu, and of course other Infosians have the wherewithal to perform better than what we did in the past and take it to great heights. That's what I would
Mr. Kamath, one last question before we wind up for the whole interview. I know it's still too early to ask you this question, but you have still a lot of time after retirement pe hai, but where do you see Infosys till your retirement?
Clearly there is a strategy also that Infosys has shared with the board as to where they want to be. And I think the board's job is to make sure that we continue to be on that path. And these are not targets that we set for a quarter, one quarter.
That's a 7 years, I think, a long time.
These are multiples of 5 years, and as Murthy likes to put it, this is a company which he would like to see endure for a very, very long time indeed. So I think these strategies are in place, and we will watch these strategies. Anything specific that we mention in terms of size or this context will be forward-looking, and I do not want to start day one by making this, which I never do a forward-looking statement.
Definitely, sir.
बिल्कुल। तो मिस्टर कामत, आपसे ये भी जानना चाहेंगे आखिरी क्वेश्चन कि आप देखें तो एक बैंकिंग फील्ड और आईटी फील्ड बिल्कुल टोटली डिफरेंट हैं, तो ऐसे में आप किस एरिया से, मतलब आप कहाँ पर ज़्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटी देखते हैं आज के टाइम में? बैंकिंग सेक्टर ज़्यादा ग्रोइंग है या आईटी सेक्टर?
मेरे हिसाब से जब देश जो है 10% जीडीपी ग्रोथ का पाथ पे है, ये दोनों एरियाज ग्रो कर रहे हैं मल्टीपल ऑफ दैट. My estimate is that 20 to 25% growth in both areas is a feasible number. I think that's what we should look at as I would say benchmark numbers, and then try to see whether we can do better.
Anyway, so thanks a lot for all of you for joining us, and best of luck for all of us, and congratulations once again, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
What about you? Dinner and all of that?